Wait, do you really believe an octopus can feel gratitude? Look, I know it sounds like something from a Disney movie, but what you're about to discover will blow your mind. And before you think, oh, just another fake internet story, wait until the end because I have the details that will prove this really happened. Oh, and if you love these incredible stories about the connection between humans and animals, don't forget to smash that like button. It helps me tremendously to bring more content like this to you. The day that changed everything. Picture this. It's a calm morning on the coast. The sun has barely risen, and there's a local fisherman doing what he's done every day for over 20 years. Nothing special, right? Wrong. Because what he was about to find in the shallow waters near the shore would turn his routine upside down. While checking his nets, he noticed something moving strangely among the rocks. It wasn't a regular fish, it wasn't a starfish, it was an octopus. But not just any octopus, this one was clearly in trouble. And here comes the heartbreaking part. The poor creature was completely tangled in plastic garbage. Plastic bags, pieces of old fishing net, those plastic rings from beverage packaging. You know, those things we use for 5 minutes and throw away without thinking? Well, all of that was suffocating the little guy. And look, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the time, because stories like this, mixing nature, emotion, and unexpected endings, I bring every week. And hit that notification bell because you won't want to miss the next one. The decision few would make. Now, let's be honest here for a second. How many people do you know who would stop their work, risk getting bitten, yes, octopuses can bite, and spend a long time trying to save a marine animal? Most of us would feel sorry, maybe take a photo, and move on. But not this fisherman. He knew he only had a few minutes to act. An octopus, out of water, stressed and trapped like that, wouldn't survive very long. So he did something extraordinary. He plunged his hands into that whole mess of plastic and started working, carefully, to free the animal. And here's a fascinating detail that few people know. Octopuses are extremely intelligent animals. They have about 500 million neurons, more than a dog. And you know what's crazier? 2/3 of those neurons are in their tentacles, not in their brain. It's like each arm can think independently. So this octopus, it knew exactly what was happening. Throughout the entire rescue, the animal remained surprisingly calm, as if it understood that this human was trying to help. No black ink sprayed, no tentacles thrashing violently, just trust. After almost 15 minutes of careful work, the last piece of plastic was removed. The fisherman gently held the octopus, carried it to deeper water, and released it. For a moment, the octopus stayed still in the palm of his hand, just looking. And if you think marine animals don't have expression, think again. Those huge eyes fixed on the fisherman had something that looked like gratitude. But the story doesn't end there, and this is where it gets really interesting. The mysterious return. 3 days passed. The fisherman continued his routine normally, but I won't lie to you, he thought about that octopus from time to time. Had the animal survived? Had it been too injured by the plastic? And then, on the morning of the 4th day, something happened that he would never expect in a million years. While working in the same location, he felt something gently touching his leg in the water. When he looked down, his heart almost stopped. It was the same octopus. He was sure of it because of the specific marking he had noticed during the rescue, a small scar on the animal's body. But what was the octopus doing there? Why had it come back? And then he saw something. Something was shining, wrapped in one of the tentacles. Now, before I tell you what it was,
I need you to stop for a second and think. What are the odds of this happening? A marine animal recognizing a human days later, returning to the same location and bringing something. Comment below. Do you think marine animals can truly feel gratitude, or are we just humanizing their behavior? I want to know your honest opinion. The gift no one expected. The shine the fisherman saw was an old coin. Not just any coin from the last decade, it was a really old coin, partially covered in marine crustaceans, but still recognizable. One of those that collectors would pay good money for. The octopus swam up to him, extended the tentacle with the coin, and deliberately placed it in his hand. Let me repeat that because it's important. The octopus placed the coin in his hand. It wasn't something that accidentally fell. It was an intentional action.
During the next few seconds, which the fisherman described as the most magical of his life, he and the octopus stayed there, connected. And then, as quickly as it appeared, the animal slid back into deeper waters and disappeared among the rocks. But wait, because there's one more thing that will surprise you: the science behind the behavior. When this story went viral, yes, the fisherman eventually shared it with local researchers, many marine scientists were absolutely fascinated. Why? Because this type of behavior confirms something they've been studying for years. Octopuses have long-term memory and can recognize individual humans. There are documented scientific studies of octopuses in aquariums that treat different staff members in different ways. They remember who fed them well, who was kind, and even avoid people who treated them badly in the past. But happening in the wild, with a wild animal, that elevates everything to another level. Some researchers believe the octopus may have associated shiny objects with value after observing humans, perhaps seeing fishermen and divers reacting to things that shine. Others think it might be an instinctive offering behavior that some cephalopods exhibit. But here's what I find most incredible. The exact scientific explanation doesn't matter. What matters is that a marine animal with a nervous system completely different from ours made the conscious choice to return to a specific location and interact again with the human who saved it. What does this mean for us? Look, I know you might be thinking, okay, cool story, so what? So what? So what? This changes everything. How many marine animals are dying every day because of our plastic garbage? Millions, literally millions. And it's not just octopuses. It's turtles, dolphins, whales, fish, seabirds. This octopus was lucky because it ran into a compassionate fisherman who stopped everything to help. But what about the others? The ones who die trapped, suffocated, with stomachs full of plastic they mistook for food. What if I told you that you can make a difference? You don't have to be a fisherman. You don't have to live near the ocean. Small actions matter. Reduce the use of disposable plastic. Dispose of your garbage properly. Participate in beach cleanup drives if you can. Share stories like this to raise awareness in others. And speaking of sharing, if this story moved you, share it with your friends and family. The more people know about the impact of marine litter, the greater the chances of real change. The ending that makes you think. The last time the fisherman saw the octopus was on that day with the coin. He returned to the location several times after, but the animal never appeared again. Some say the octopus simply moved on with his life. Others believe the debt was paid and there was no more reason to return. But the fisherman? He keeps that coin in a special place in his home, not for its monetary value,
although it was valuable because it's a physical reminder that true connections can happen in the most unexpected places between the most unlikely creatures. And every time he looks at that old coin covered in marine crustaceans, he remembers a profound truth. We all live interconnected on this planet. What we do impacts creatures we'll never see. And sometimes, just sometimes, a choice of compassion comes back to us in ways we could never imagine. Now, I need to know, what would you have done if you were the fisherman? Would you have stopped everything to save the octopus, or would you have continued with your work? And do you believe the octopus really chose to bring that coin as a gift, or was it just coincidence? Comment below, and don't forget, like if this story moved you. Subscribe and hit the bell for more incredible stories. Share with someone who needs to see this, because stories like this remind us that even in our increasingly disconnected world, magic still exists. We just need to have eyes to see it. Until the next incredible story, waves and stars.